Welcome back to another episode of Girls & Co. I have Sam and Taylor, two OGs, and a very, 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 very special guest. Courtney's here.
Hi.
Welcome. Can I just start off by saying, apparently this is a huge deal, and I was excited to have you on, but I didn't realize how big of a deal it was.
Did you not know I had a no camera policy?
I had no clue.
Oh, you had no clue.
I had no clue. I was just like blissfully like, yeah, sure, yeah, it's gonna be great. Come hang out. No, didn't know.
I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a strong no camera policy, but I was waiting to make the exception for Girls & Co. So
We're honored.
I feel like I'm like invited to like the Cool Girls Club.
Like a cool lunch table hangout.
Uh-huh.
I love it. Well, we start off every episode by talking about our weekend and what we did. So you can start. What'd you do this weekend?
All right, my weekend is not going to be as interesting as yours. It was a rainy weekend in the suburbs of New Jersey, and I have 3 kids, 5, 3, and almost 1. So
stuck in a house.
Yeah, stuck in a house.
Yeah.
It was survival weekend.
Like an episode of Survivor.
Yeah, exactly. It was a ninja class, a parent-teacher conference. Dropped all the kids off at Jimmy and Katie's for an hour. Exactly.
Mom stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. No, that's good. What's a ninja class? The karate, basically, or
A ninja class is like the most awesome class ever. I wish it existed.
Is
when
it like
I was
American
little.
Ninja Warrior?
It is like they have like make an obstacle course for like 3-year-olds. So you like climb up this like ladder, and then you like walk across like this like balance beam, and then you like swing across this rope. It's like everything a 3-year-old wants.
That's very cool.
And
that's so cool.
it's so cool. I used to like put my kids in like try like t-ball or soccer at that age, but like they don't care.
No.
Like it's too like organized. For them. Like they just want to go run and jump into a wall. Like
Yeah.
Which cause chaos.
Yeah. So ninja class,
honestly.
I highly recommend.
It's like basically like gymnastics, but cooler.
Less less organized.
Less organized.
Do both of the boys go?
Edison goes. The 3-year-old goes, and the 5-year-old's very jealous. But the 5-year-old, we're trying to teach how to swim, and he has to play t-ball. So I'm like, you get 2 things.
Yeah.
You get everyone's maxed out.
No, I love it. Love it. Good weekend. Sam, what'd you do?
Oh, I did nothing. I started a new gym, so I went there on Saturday.
Nice.
And then after that, truly nothing. Sunday it was raining all weekend, as we said, but Sunday it was like really didn't do anything, didn't leave the house. I reorganized and folded all of my clothes. I told you guys that's why I'm wearing a sweatshirt today, because I remembered that I had it.
New find.
So yeah, been 3 days into the week, I've been trying to keep up the organization of my room, and I'm kind of there. But I just had to pass the time with something. So yeah, I did less than anything this weekend.
I love that feeling.
Yeah,
That's a good
organizing.
Yes,
good.
yeah, that was fun, and I don't mind doing that stuff at all.
Nice.
Yeah.
Taylor, what'd you do?
I worked on Friday and Saturday, and then went out Saturday night, and I wanted to organize and clean all day on Sunday, but my roommate and I woke up a little hungover at noon, and she was making pancakes, and she texted our neighbors that live upstairs, and she's like, guys, making pancakes if you want to come down. Within 3 minutes, they were knocking on the door. And then we hung out with them for the entire day. So I did nothing that I was supposed to get done. I had a great day with them, but didn't do a single productive thing.
I feel like you hear that in like a TV show, like your neighbors making
Yeah.
pancakes
Yeah,
when you all
it's
hang
so
out.
friends.
It was
Like,
really,
what?
it was our first, we've been friends with them for a while, but it was our first time like doing something like that. We were
Such
just
a
like, come over for
casual thing.
pancakes. And then they never left. And they're boys, so they're just like, let's just keep drinking. And we're like, what? So then they just drank the whole day. And then I'm like, am I drinking at 1 o'clock? And I'm like, what's going on? But yeah, it's fun. I like that we have friends in the building.
That
Yeah.
is
Just
fun.
pop down.
Very handy.
Super fun.
Pax, it was your birthday weekend.
I celebrated my birthday. I went out regardless of the fact that it was raining all weekend. There was one point I drank way too much. I was out till 5 a.m. on Friday, I guess Saturday morning, and then 4:30 on Sunday.
Oh my God.
So I'm still not doing great, personally. There was one point
Wait,
where
you went out to 4:30.
Unfortunately.
I'm still processing.
Unfortunately, I did. That was actually early. I went home before my friends. Yes, it's
I'm
insane.
impressed.
That's insane.
There were 2 different nights that both nights I cried at different points. Friday night, I cried because it was raining, and I decided to be one of those like dumb idiots that didn't bring a big jacket.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't need a jacket. It's going to ruin my outfit. That's just a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's always a bad idea. So I was like standing outside in like an actual hurricane, like in this like light blue slip dress with a blazer crying. I'm like, why is it raining so hard? And then I started crying on the way home on Saturday night because I was just like so sick. I was just like, did not feel good. I'm like calling my friends. I'm like, help me. They're like, I don't know what to do.
And then you get like, what was the point of all of this? Then you're just sitting there hating yourself and you're like, what did I do this for?
Literally, I felt sick all through Sunday and Monday. Like Monday, I was a shell of myself.
Yeah.
People were like, how was your birthday? I was like, great.
Yeah.
But overall, it was fun. It was a good time. I had some girlfriends come into town, so it's always fun celebrating.
Now you don't have to do that again until next year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's 30th next year.
Huh.
Yeah. Anyways, all right, moving on to why Courtney is here. We want to get to know you. We want people to know you. We want to know every detail. So let's start off by asking, who are you?
Who am I?
are
That's a big question.
It's so deep and
Oh my
vague.
God.
It's like existential. You're like,
I
wait, I don't know who I am.
Who are you?
am I?
Let's unpack that.
Okay, who am I? Born in New Jersey, so I feel like I'm a Jersey girl
Okay.
at heart. We moved a lot, so like I left Jersey when I was 10, but we came back like to Jersey so much. We had our summer house on the Jersey Shore, so I really identify with Jersey. Who am I? I am a wife. I am a mother of 3 crazy young kids. I am a sibling. I am a working mom. Yeah, I went to college in California, started working in advertising sales in New York City, and went back to California, found my way back to New York. I feel like I'm an East Coast girl. Like, I'm so glad I tried California, and I love it, and I love my experience there, but I found it feels good to be back home. But yeah, that's kind of how I identify.
I love it. That's good.
Yeah.
It's a good starting point. So let's start at the beginning of your story. Obviously, you're here because your brother is Jomboy, but I want to know more about you and how you essentially got to this point. So you went to school in California. What did you study? All of this.
Studied marketing.
Okay.
Knew I always wanted to be in business. Was always intrigued. Like, my dad was really successful in business, and we would have like long conversations about business. Like, I was kind of like an adult as a kid. Like, Jimmy always made fun of me. He was like, thought I was like a mom, or like he would be like, you're like 30, when I was like 12-year-old girl. So I always was on that track, and I was kind of nervous to do sales because I think you have to put yourself out there so much. So I studied marketing and thought maybe I would do like marketing, and that would be a better route for me. I got my first job in New York City out of college at Time Warner Cable Media Sales.
Nice.
And we're selling local, like, New York City TV spots, but like my job was, I remember I was so excited. I got my first job, and my title was junior sales assistant. And I called
Not
my
be any
dad
lower.
so excited, and I was like, Dad, I got it. I'm a junior sales assistant. He's like, you have junior and assistant in the same
Like, I didn't even know that was possible.
No.
You can't be lower.
Perfect.
Yeah. I was like, two negatives just like cross each other out. Like, does that apply? No. But I sat in the reception desk of like, because it was like a formal office. So like I would do a sales assistant work, but I would like also was the receptionist. So like I had to like if I wanted to go to the bathroom, I would have to call someone to like cover for me, or like lunch. So like I like look at these kids these days, and I'm like, oh, the luxury.
Yeah.
The luxury.
You have no idea.
To pee when you want to pee.
Wow.
So from there, so you're in New York. How long are you in that role?
Probably like 2 years.
Okay.
I was pretty like hungry to like move up. So then once you start like being in sales support, you're like, ooh, can I do that? Like, can I do sales? And I really wanted to try digital media because, you know, everyone, and, you know, it's true, like, was like, TV is dying, it's going away, where I think TV is just like evolving to like a different form. But I was, you know, in my 20s, and I was like, TV's dying. Like, I need to like,
We
get
gotta
a new
jump
job.
ship.
Yeah, it's like going away tomorrow. So I worked for a digital like media publisher called Healthline, and worked my way up. Left that job and went to a startup called Simul Media, and that was my first ever like sales job, and it was like a true startup, like kind of like this, like 60 people, got some funding, had like really hungry people, but were doing something that was like very new and disruptive and didn't have like a brand name to like back us up. So I think it was just like such a blessing, because when your first sales job is like the hardest sales job, it only gets better from there. Kind of like prepares you for everything else.
Yeah. No, and so from that, you obviously went the corporate route, and then you also went the startup route, which is essentially what you landed in. What did you pull from both of those to kind of figure out the idea of like where you wanted to end up after that?
So that's a good question. So after that, I spent some time in ad tech, and I was like a sales leader on the West Coast for an ad tech company. And then it was like 500 people, still kind of startup-y. I was living in San Francisco, and I was like, I really want to work for like Google or Facebook or Uber. Like, I'm in San Francisco. I want to work for one of those like big tech companies. So I went and got a job for Uber, because I also really wanted to work for a company that people had a consumer brand, and that people had an attachment to the brand. Because in like B2B or the ad tech world, you're a little far removed from like what I'm actually doing is impacting like someone's life.
Yeah.
So like even Uber gave me that, because Uber, I'm like, I love Uber. Like in New York, I was nicknamed the Uber Princess, because like I like overused Uber so much. So I went to Uber and I got that experience, but I kind of learned that like I really love working for a small company where you can really make an impact and you can move really quickly. Like that's the environment I thrived. So it was, when did I start working here? Like,
you started like, I think a little bit before me, and I started January of 21.
Okay. So I started like December 2020. Yeah, 2020. So we moved. I had my second son. The Uber job was done. We moved cross country, and Jimmy was really starting to figure out, how do we like make this a business? Like, I think there were some sales coming through, but we weren't like operationalizing it. We weren't really monetizing it. Like, it was just kind of like going deal by deal, but there was no like overall infrastructure or strategy in place. So he asked me to come on board. I like was kind of seeing like, inklings of like, I want to help, because I saw that I could be so impactful. So I think that's where it was, it was a really hard decision, because Jimmy and I never, ever thought we would ever work together. We grew up 2 years apart. We were like opposites in a lot of just our personality traits, and just like where our visions of like where we wanted to go in life. And he, I think, was, trying to figure out how to make this a business. I was like, oh man, I could help you. But we're both like, do we do it? Like, you hear all the horror stories. Like, it's so risky. And I'm like, I'm so glad that we did it. And what I love about it, like coming around to your question, is that what I love about Jomboy Media is that it has that consumer relationship that like I was like really like gravitating towards. Like, I could see every day like how we are affecting people's lives. But it's also like super like creative and like nimble, and like we can move fast. So it kind of brings my like best of both worlds together. And it works really well.
Did you guys have like a big family meeting or anything?
That's what I was about to ask. Like, how did you decide?
So this is how a lot of stuff gets done in my family. Someone else is like the intermediary between like what you are really thinking. So like if you think about just like a Christmas present or something, like you wouldn't go ask that person, but you would ask like Mom, what does Jimmy want for Christmas? Or like,
right.
So that's how a lot of conversations happen. Like you go to some, okay, like, I don't know, Mom, does he want me to work there? Like, no, he does. And then he was probably going to my mom or dad saying like, does she want to work there? Like, probably like not like how normal adult conversations should work. But that's how a lot of stuff gets done until you're like comfortable enough to have. But then I remember we like sat down and we like talked about it. And yeah, it's definitely like awkward because you're creating a new type of dynamic into like, you know,
personal and professional.
Yes.
Together.
Yes. But yeah, we found a way to make it work.
And this is kind of a weird question, when did you personally buy in to Jomboy Media? Because obviously Jimmy and Jake were doing this years before. But like from a family side of it, when did you look at this and think like, this I think could be something really cool and really big? Or was it not until you were a part of it that you kind of saw that?
So, well, one, I always believed in my brother. He was had such a strong creative vision. He's been making videos and doing stuff like he's been forever. Like he even says it's like he just didn't have an audience at the time, but nothing he is doing has like really changed that much, even from when he was in high school. So I always knew that there was something big here. And I remember we would get like my husband and I would get like super defensive when like he started like the Twitter thing and he was just tweeting and people would be like, I don't get it. How does that make money? You know, like all those old school people. And we'd be like, how does like commercial, like think about anything with an audience. You just like advertise, there's, you know, like we would get so defensive about it because we believed in it so much. And then after that initial investment, he was looking to raise a little bit more. So my husband and I put in like a very small investment in that second round because, I mean, we wanted to support Jimmy, but we also like really believed in like his vision. And that was before I came on. So I think that was earlier in the year. And then I came on in like December.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you were in California, then you came here, took the job. Now you're in like a really big role for the company. A lot of people don't know that. How did you go from point A when you first started to point B to where you are now?
In 2 years.
Literally.
2? Like that's like
that's great.
I know
like
it moves
business wise, that's crazy.
Yeah, like this business and this company, like everything moves quick, but still like did you start as head of sales?
Yeah, I mean, I started and I was like the only salesperson on the team. So I was, you know, ad ops, like that's like actually making sure the ads go live. I was account management, client services, talking to the customers. I was sales. Like, I think that's how a lot of people grow really fast here is like they do every part of the job and then they scale it. And it really allows you to know how everything works and gives you a better understanding to like build around you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, when you were approached to take on this bigger role that you're in right now, were you hesitant at all, or were you okay with it?
No, I was happy about it.
Yeah.
I was really excited about it. I thought that there was so much opportunity, and I really think that Jimmy has such a smart business mind, and we're such good partners. So that's what I love about, you know, me stepping into this role is I know how well we work together and we could get stuff done really quickly. And what's nice about being siblings is that there's a trust already there. So there's not a barrier, an uphill, you know, we're not building that at all. Like we're just kind of like, we can run and we could go and we get each other really well. Yeah. So I was really excited just because I love this company so much. I'm so like bought in. I see like all the potential we have and to get Jimmy more time to focus on content.
Yeah.
And like when we made the switch, like I just saw like a new energy in him that like got me excited. And I think like kind of trickled across the entire company. So it was really cool to see like those immediate results.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's a fun relationship. We we get a lot done in very unconventional ways, but it works for us. Like
your train time.
Yeah, our train times. Our
Right,
meetings are usually on the train.
I love it.
To and from work. Like we basically like text each other at like 11:30 at night, just like making decisions. But it allows the company to like keep on growing, keep on building, and like we don't want to like hold anyone back because everyone is moving at the speed that we need to be moving. So I feel like this has really allowed for that.
No, yeah, I agree. I agree with the energy thing. I think there's definitely been a shift in like positivity and excitement, and people are just wanting to do more things. This question I'm actually very curious about. You were one of the first women that was a part of Jomboy Media officially. And you've been in the sales and marketing world for a while, which is like, it can be a pretty male dominating industry. And then you add sports to it, which is also very male dominated. How have you not only maintained the balance here at Jomboy Media of like always feeling safe and feeling a family, to like also battling like the things in the industry that I'm sure you've come in contact with over the years?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it really just leaned into the culture that was already built here, and expand upon that. Like, I think Jimmy, naturally, he grew up sandwiched in between two sisters.
It's awesome.
So, like,
awesome. That'll crush anyone.
Right. He gets, like, women and girls, and like I don't think he looks at us differently. Like, I was always like more like domineering and like bossy and like so I think that he's really allowed for that from the beginning. Not that there's a difference in like how any of us are treated, and I just kind of built upon what he has created. So yeah, I mean, and Jake too. Like, Jake the same way. Like, all of the leaders and all the guys in our office, like, I don't feel like there's a difference at all. And like, I hope I'm not speaking for anyone, because everyone has their own experiences. But even like, you know, it was funny, like being the first woman in the office to have a baby, go maternity leave, come back. Now I'm pumping at work. I'm like, people were complaining, you know, my friends, about their like pumping environments. I'm like, I'm pumping in a studio. I don't know if I'm recording or not.
Like, we could be live.
Like, who knows?
like I had to one day get Taylor and be like, did they record me pumping? But all of our like guys here have been so supportive. Like, I kind of thought it was funny sometimes to like be so open about it, because they would be like, oh, can we talk about it? Can we not? Like, should we pretend you're just not doing that? Like,
just ignore the room.
Like, they like didn't know how to handle it, but like they were so respectful and accommodating. So I think that was like, it was also a good transition for us as a company to go through that, because I want to make this a super comfortable environment for women to succeed, for moms to succeed, and to feel like they're really supported around them. So it's kind of fun watching us go through those things of like, oh shit, yeah, we do have to figure out how to have a mother's room and how to provide that for someone. And that's going to be a big part of our culture and our company as we grow. So
did you run into issues at other companies that you had been, or how was it different, I guess, is a better way of asking that question?
Yeah, so I think early on in my sales career, I definitely got a lot of pushback or flack from being a young female selling and advertising. I remember in particularly, like, I went to this one meeting by myself, and it was with executives, and I was there alone. There was like 4 men, and they said, oh, what did you get, like a hall pass to come here? Or like something so rude that like they said to me. And like, honestly, like, just ignore it and show them that like you're a badass, and let your work speak for itself, because it will shut them up quickly.
Just take it, remember it, keep it in your back pocket, use it for fuel to your fire.
Yeah. Or I like to like, even, you know, maybe not sometimes ignore it, like address it head on, like, but then just kind of move on, like address it, say something quick, and then like move on really quickly, so they don't even have time to like rebut, and just let them like think about what they said and be like, no, I'm going to address that so it doesn't happen again, but like it's not going to affect the way that I perform today. And like that's how I've learned to like handle a lot of things.
Yeah, I was talking to some college students in sports journalism on Monday, and there's this one girl, she wants to get into sports media, whether it's, I think it's maybe marketing, and then another one wants to be on camera. And they're basically asking like, what's the hardest thing about like being a woman in the sports world? And I was just like, you kind of have to, like, the biggest lesson I've learned is you have to pick your battles. To pick your battles wisely and just figure out what's worth your energy and what's not, and know that ultimately, no matter what people say, like, it's not going to affect your job.
Right.
Like, you're still doing your job.
Right.
And that's what I think. This is one of the first companies that I've been at in sports, and we've all talked about it multiple times. Like, it just feels safe.
Yeah.
To be a woman here.
Yes.
And that's very rare to say. Like, all around, from every aspect, from every department, like, I personally I feel safe and like comfortable, and that's so rare, and it shouldn't be rare, but it is.
I mean, that's what I love to hear. I think that's what's so rewarding about this job. To your point earlier about like the family aspect of it, and like how do you keep it feeling like family as we grow? And I thought about that a little bit, and I was like, this sounds corny, but like, what is so valuable about your family? It's like they love you unconditionally. It's a safe place for you to go. And the most rewarding days at work for me is when I've had one-on-ones with people here and they said, I love working here because I could be myself, and I'm accepted, and I could be who I am and feel included. And I'm like, oh my God, like that like gave me chills, like, and I feel like that's how we do it. That's how we keep the family environment as we grow, as long as we accept people for who they are, allow them to be themselves, embrace everyone's differences. Like, that's how we're going to keep the culture that we have while still like expanding and growing.
It's crazy because I think most, and I'll speak for myself, and Sam, Taylor, feel free to say what you think. In every other role that I've had on camera, typically, and it's an unfortunate thing, but in my side of things, being on camera and being an on-camera host, there's such a quick ceiling that you hit every place that you go. You accomplish X, Y, Z, and within like a year, you've already accomplished everything that you can accomplish, and so you move on to the next place or the next place and the next. Instead of working your way up in a company, you work your way up with other companies. And I tell people all the time, this is the first place I have no idea where that ceiling is at. And I think it's because of the environment that's been created and the culture that's been created to completely support not only me personally, but also me professionally, of like, try it, see what happens. Like, do this, do that. Here's this role, here's that. And that's just, it's so cool. And I think it goes back to like all of you guys that are heads of departments that have just created this like spinning wheel of just acceptance and love, and like, okay, we'll figure it out. Things go wrong, like this, don't do this again, whatever. But it's crazy. It's crazy.
I love that. I love that people are like learning and jumping in and trying new things.
It's like there's so many opportunities.
So
here.
It's in
where like like you said with the ceiling, like that can come at you really quick in any job. Like, it happened to me when I was like 25, and I realized I was one step from the job I thought I was going to want for my entire life, and I was like,
you're like,
oh
dang,
my God.
that's
I was
close.
like, oh my God, yeah. Like, if I get that, is that going to be it until I'm 80? Like, am I just going to be in this one thing for the rest of my life?
70 years old tweeting. Like,
yeah. And like that gets kind of scary. And then it's nice to be somewhere where you're like, oh, there's so much opportunity, and like I can take on new things, and people trust us to take opportunities. That's really nice.
Sam, for example, is like basically the blueprint of that exact statement.
I know.
Like, you went from what are all the titles that you've had here in roles?
I started as assistant and Patreon manager, and then really switched to, I guess, like officially, we don't always keep up or think to change titles because that doesn't always matter so much, and as we're realizing maybe it does matter more, but so it went from assistant in Patreon to this content operations manager,
and in between that you had like 75
event planning, office manager.
I know.
Yeah,
she says
babysitter,
she's
like
picking people up from the airport.
Like, taxi, like
you helped with invoices at one point,
emotional support. Like, I don't know, like literally every role in the company you've done.
But I mean, it's been it's always fun, and like that's just what you have to do when you're a startup and you do everything. And I always enjoyed. I think it just helps you do whatever job you're doing. You can do that better, like you were saying, if you know how everything else works and what ties into it all. Like the more that you know or can overhear or see how the operations work, and it's like, oh, if I heard this, and let me tell this team, because I know that could be a useful piece of information for them. So yeah, I liked getting the chance to learn a little bit of everything. It just gives you a good appreciation for people who are in that role. Like when I did invoicing, like it was not my strong suit. I did not do good at it, and I'm like, Steve, I don't know how you do this every month. Like,
it's
horrible.
Month
doing your invoicing, like that's brutal.
Yeah, it is brutal.
Yeah, so I can have a much also just greater appreciation for people who like that is their strong suit, and that's amazing because it's not my wheelhouse.
I'm gonna make it my mission on this show to always just like make sure Sam does not like under like value everything
we bring
that
this
she
up
does.
every episode. Bro's like, Sam does everything,
and she's like, it's fine. Like, no, it's fine. I haven't slept in 10 days, but it's fine. I'm like, what?
I have a question. Obviously, everyone here, almost everyone at this company is like fully invested, diehard sports fans. How I don't know if people are gonna be surprised or not surprised. How invested are you in sports? In sports?
I'm invested in sports because the company is invested in sports.
Yeah.
I used to be a big Yankee fan, like when they were good, like when I was in high school, and I got really into it with my family. So I love the fact that sports brings people together and brings people of all ages together. Honestly, I was a bigger sports fan, but then I married my husband, who's like the biggest sports fan. So then I had my brothers and him, and they made me go the other way. So they pushed me over the edge. So I want to get back into the Yankees.
Maybe not now.
You know what?
Yeah.
I just
maybe not
feel like
this
my
week.
plate is really full. Like I'm not saying woe is me, but with 3 kids and my husband and this job, and I'm renovating a house, and I'm just like, there's going to be a time for it, but now's not my time.
I remember it was so funny. I think it was on opening day this year, and everyone was like watching the TV. I think you had just come out of a meeting, and you like go back to your desk. And you're like, oh, like, so do we like how the Yankees like put out like a line to everyone today? And Lucas Diversa is so sweet when he explains things because he has so much knowledge, and he knows like, all right, let me just lay this out real simple. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, we do, but like this could have been shifted, and this is this, and it was just so so precious.
Sweet.
Yeah.
He like talks to me like I'm his like grandma that like never watched the Yankees game before. And he's like, okay, Grams, this is what's going on.
It's so funny.
I think it makes such a good balance with you not really caring. Like obviously we all want the Yankees to do well and baseball in general on behalf of the company.
Right.
But I think it's such a good balance. Maybe like even in like an underappreciated balance that you don't care. Like I really think that matters. Like because there's a lot of highs and lows with the way that the emotions of people in the office, and you're just like, hey, we got a business to run.
Oh yeah.
Like
want to hear the prime example of this?
Yes.
So this is not even about the Yankees. It was about Blitzball. The last one they filmed was that Blitzball.
Yeah. Blitzball 3.
Yeah. So like I am like home,
or maybe it was Ball and Play, but
it was one of them. Yeah. I'm home. Like I'm like just thinking about like how's this production going, like it's just always on the back of my mind, like, you know, just kind of like trying to text Luke or Jimmy but like not annoy them, but like, is everything okay, do I need to come, like blah blah blah. So like finally I get a hold of Jimmy and I'm like, oh Jim, how did everything go? Like he was on his ride home, he goes, I lost. I'm like, are you kidding me? I don't give a shit that you lost.
Like the magnitude of the production.
Yeah.
We have so many more things to worry about. Yeah.
I'm like from the business standpoint, like did everything go well? Did everyone work together? Did we like do everything we need to do?
Oh my god, that's so good.
But it makes for such a good balance because you're like, hey everyone, I know the Yankees stink. We're running a business.
Right.
Yeah. Get your shit together. Like we need someone level-headed that doesn't care that much to like be bringing down the hammer every now and then.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And I think if you keep your entire focus on baseball and only baseball and it be run by only baseball fans, that ceiling's real low.
Yeah. And it's good. Actually, it's good perspective for the sales team too. We've gotten a lot of success with clients because they know us and they love us and they're part of our community, right? And like now we're expanding to more clients that like maybe the marketing team at, I don't know, just making this up, you know, a client that we're going after doesn't know about us because they don't know baseball, they don't know our content. That's okay. We need to teach them about it. And we need to teach them about why this sport is so powerful and what we do in it and what our personalities bring to the table. So it's good for the sales team to have that perspective that not everyone's going to be a diehard that's talking to our brand and like how do we adapt our story to those people.
I have a question. What is the hardest part of your role?
The hardest part
of my hardest part. That you can say on camera.
What is the hardest part? I think it is being able to balance out planning ahead with moving so quickly.
That's
a good answer.
Because we need to keep our speed and we need to be nimble, but we need to get a little bit better about being organized and projecting what we think is going to happen and creating some structure and lanes. And it's just striking that balance. Because you can't plan too far ahead and you can't make everything perfect because the time you get to perfect, it's irrelevant.
Right.
Right. So it's like getting to that, okay, we're like 70% sure, let's go. And like finding that like 70% all the time, I would say that's the hardest part.
No, I get that. You guys have any more questions before I go to our
Well, we've talked about Jimmy, but then you have another sibling that works at this company. And he worked underneath you for a long time.
Yes, my Lukey boy. That's what my mom would say too.
So how did you guys decide that Luke was going to come on? Was that like a no-brainer? Of course he is. I know he did stuff with Jimmy way back.
Yes.
Another family meeting.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so Luke is like, I have a special relationship with Luke. I'm 12 years older than Luke. So Luke is like 75% my brother, 25% my son. Like there's like that kind of like motherly relationship with him. Luke actually convinced Jimmy to get on YouTube. I don't know if you all know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, and that's how we really started monetizing a lot of the early content. So we owe a lot to Luke from his like, he's very like, he's a really strong business acumen, especially for someone his age, but even in general. And he is really good at like strategizing and helping Jimmy with that. And he was doing that in college. And then I think like he was like, he knew I was going to come on as sales. I did before him. And I think he was like, maybe I want to do sales. Maybe I want to do something else. And I think if I remember correctly, like I kind of played like hardball with him. And I'm like, well, I don't want someone that's a maybe. So like, you go think about it and like come back to me. And then like he did. And he was like, no, I want to do sales. Like I want to learn sales. So he came under my wing on the sales team, which is awesome. And we've had a great working relationship. It's funny to just like have your brother in on those moments. And like, sometimes I do feel bad when I was his like direct manager because I was like in my 20s, like I would like, you know, drink until like 4 a.m. and then like I would like show up to work on Friday like half a zombie and like, do you want your older sister sitting right next to you? Like when you do that, like that sucks for him sometimes. Like
and you guys are right next to each
other. Like literally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not even like his desk is on the other side of the room. No. He can just like avoid you on his way in.
Yeah. So I feel better that I moved up. Alethea is kind of his direct manager now. So he has a little bit more space to like.
Did you guys ever think like all of you would be working together?
It's so weird. And my poor sister, who we love dearly.
Right? Is that like is that like a running joke?
If
like
you're
in
listening,
the family?
there is a fourth O'Brien.
Yeah, there is a fourth O'Brien. We miss her so much. She lives in Denver. And like I think I was just talking to her the other day and I was like, it's like weird. We all work together. And she just looked at me and she's like, yeah, it's bizarre.
She's like, yeah, you guys I've been thinking this.
Yeah. She goes, I don't even really get it. She's like, what do you do all day? And I'm like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like, it is odd. Like, I never thought we would be here. Like, you would think, you know, some people have family businesses and that it's a restaurant or they're in real estate, and you can kind of like imagine growing up, oh, am I going to, like, that was never like a thing. So it's really like, weird to adjust to.
Well, that kind of leads us into our next segment, which is called This or That. And it's basically going to be Jimmy versus Luke.
Okay. I love this.
And you're going to tell us which is the best, whatever they classify in this category. Cool?
Perfect.
All right. And we can discuss as we go.
Yeah, I would like to hear your guys' feedback as well. That's going to be interesting to me.
Is this a lot of ours are going to be just like blind guesses, just like strictly based on like made up opinions, and I love it.
No, you know them.
True. All right, first one, best cook.
Okay. This is a hard one because Jimmy used to be a really good cook and really into it, and now he hasn't cooked in a long time. So I'm going to say Jimmy. But I'm going to feel really bad about it because Luke has been trying to cook a lot.
That's what I was about to say. I could see Luke trying. I could see him trying to do it.
Yeah. I was going to say I would vote if Jimmy had the time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that was going to be my guess too. Because I think I recently saw him make like a chili or something.
Yeah, he does make a chili.
Like
he makes a meatloaf.
Okay.
He makes like the good classic like American
like hearty
dishes.
meals.
Hearty meals. Yeah, like this.
Good. I love it. Okay, so Jimmy's one. Best style.
Luke, hands down. Luke. Yeah. He's this mohawk. He's like a million shoes.
Mohawk. I remember even before, I think it was like maybe before LA or one of our trips, he was like, I remember he sent me pictures.
Yeah,
like,
he was sending pictures of outfits.
Oh,
yeah. What should I bring for that party
mullet.
in LA?
He has his mullet now, which I didn't know was in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, they are in.
Oh, okay.
A subtle mohawk?
Well, it's like a mullet.
What? But there was mullet, sorry. But it was like he said a term before it because it's not like a straight
it's
up
not
like a soft mullet.
Maybe it's a soft mullet.
I don't know.
But that is in right now.
But you really can't tell. Looking at him, you can't tell.
Yeah.
So much.
Some days he tries to like lean into it.
Up.
Yeah, do it up more than others.
That's going to be interesting to watch grow. Most creative.
Tough.
Yeah, that is tough.
That's a hard one.
That's a hard one.
I think a lot of people would probably guess that like right off the bat it'd be Jimmy.
Yeah.
But Luke, I feel like, is really creative in a different way.
Yeah, Luke has really creative ideas. When it comes to problem solving, I would say Luke is more creative. When it comes to like content, like obviously ideas, like Jimmy is more creative. But yeah, that's a tough one. Maybe I would lean Jimmy, but yeah, Luke is up there too.
Yeah. This one's going to piss them off.
Oh, God.
Best athlete.
Oh, Luke. I'm sorry.
I think we voted him.
Was that even
most
like growing
athletic.
up? Like when, like if Jimmy was Luke's age still, it was Luke.
I think because Jimmy like trained Luke.
I was going to say, Jimmy's going to chime in and be like, I taught him everything he knows.
Yeah. I take credit for that.
Yeah.
I feel like younger siblings usually are more successful because, you grew up trying to beat your older sibling.
And we were never easy on him.
Yeah.
And we grew up in a really competitive house.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
I've watched them play blitzball. Yeah. So
I've watched them ride a scooter around the office to see who could go the fastest.
Oh, it's
like,
do you guys know that me and my sister were arguing like who's more athletic? And then Jimmy created a whole sister Olympics.
That was so funny.
I'm sorry.
I think it still lives on YouTube.
I've seen that
old
video.
were you?
Oh, I was in my 20s. Like, I was not a child.
Yeah, so this was kind of recent.
I mean, not that recent, but kind of recent. Maybe like 10 years ago. Like, we had uniforms. Like, Luke was like, I think Luke was Richie's coach. My dad was my coach. We had coaches. We had all these different activities.
It was a Warehouse Games production.
It was just in my backyard.
This is where it started.
Yeah. I think there was like a scoreboard on I saw the video somehow. Yeah, it's exactly what
there
we
was
do
an
now.
injury. My sister got hurt trying to catch a fly ball and just hit her right in the head.
Who won?
I think Ritzy did. It lives on YouTube. I have to.
And Jimmy filmed it all?
Yeah, Jimmy filmed it all. There was like an MC. Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
That is like where Warehouse Games originated.
So much.
Yeah, exactly.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does.
That was just like a normal Saturday.
That's awesome. Next one. Most likely to be on a reality show.
Oh, Luke, I think.
What reality show?
That's interesting, right? Because Jimmy like lives on camera, but so I don't.
I would put Luke probably.
But I said Luke because I think his personality.
Mm-hmm. I would go Luke.
Yeah, I think Jimmy like his personality is. He's like I don't know, like when you're hanging out with him one-on-one.
Yeah,
he's more of like a down to earth, genuine like. So is Luke, but like he could be more entertaining in a more casual setting, I think. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm trying to think what reality show I could see Luke on. My first thought for some reason was Love Island, and I don't know.
I was like Real World. Like I could just picture Luke like vibing with everyone in the house.
Yeah, like a Big Brother maybe.
Yeah, like something like where he could just hang with everyone in the house.
Like I'm just happy to be here. Like,
have a good time and compete a little, but like still
Summer House.
We're all trying to get on Summer House.
We got a connection. We got a connection. Okay, next one. Biggest softie.
Oh, so both of my brothers are really big softies. I'm like the outlier when it comes to that. Me and my sister. My sister mostly like she's tough, but I don't know. That's really hard. I think a tie. Like,
okay.
Yeah, I think.
Do you
tie.
think because Jimmy maybe in his like since becoming a dad or whatever can be very quick to cry. Is Luke like that?
Jimmy's quick to cry.
Yeah.
Luke is really like open to talking about like his feelings and having deep conversations and like sitting down and having like one-to-ones. Like Jimmy's more like a sap. Like he'll just like tear up and like make me cry. But they both kind of like they're both kind of soft in that sense.
I love it. That's great. Okay, opposite side of things. Most likely to send back their food because it's wrong or it's too cold.
I don't think either of them would do that.
I would say feel too uncomfortable to do it.
I would feel this. So I would say Jimmy never. He would just eat it. No, like
I can't picture Jimmy ever doing
that.
No,
I really can't picture Luke doing
I don't
that
think I
either.
could either.
I think they would both just eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would be the one to send back their food, honestly.
Their food or your food?
Their food. I'd be like, he doesn't like this. And it's like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah. They're like, stop it. Stop embarrassing me.
That's awesome.
That's funny.
Next one. The messiest.
I think they're both messy. I don't know.
I guess growing up is who was like just the more chaotic with their things.
All right, I'm gonna say Jimmy's the messiest with leaving stuff around. I think Luke can be neater.
All right. This one's funny. Most likely to buy something stupid while under the influence of something.
Luke, 100%. 100%.
She didn't even finish the question.
Oh,
literally. Oh, yeah.
Luke's had like ducks, like
What?
Oh yeah, he's had like the weirdest purchases.
He bought a duck?
Yeah.
You have to ask him about his duck from college.
Very funny.
I've seen pictures and videos of it.
Yeah.
He always had animals.
Yeah.
Oh, the more you know.
He like called me and my husband one day to pretend to be his dad because he wanted to buy an animal, but he was like a minor in college. And like my husband's like a lawyer, and I think it was like no. So he's just like on to the next. Like he called Ritzy, my sister's fiance, and he's like, all right, he's trying to get into this family. Will he do this?
Oh my God. He's trying to make people happy.
Oh yeah, he did it in a second. No, they have a bond about that.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's great. Funniest.
I think Jimmy.
Okay.
They both crack me up, but
yeah.
I think Jimmy.
Last one. I'm gonna switch it up. Favorite memory with both of them, individually. Like favorite memory with Jimmy, favorite memory with Luke.
Oh God, favorite memory?
Yeah.
I don't have specific memories like this.
It wasn't the Sister Olympics.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think one of my favorite. This is going to embarrass Luke so much.
Perfect.
One of my favorite memories with Luke, he's going to kill me, is when he was still like a little kid, just to preface this. And like me and we used to sleep in the same bed together, like all the time of sleepovers.
Yeah.
So then I was dating my husband at the time. He was my boyfriend in college, and we were all sleeping together in like a room, and like my husband's like, how is this gonna like work? Like I was like move over, like we're all getting in.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, and
Get
then
close.
Luke like literally like jumped in the middle of us. I was like, yeah, this is how it's happening. Welcome to the family.
And he never left.
He never left.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
really
that's a good
sweet
one.
though.
That's a good one. You guys got any other questions?
I don't think so. This is really fun.
I'm so happy you came on.
Oh, I'm so happy I did. It was like, I was very nervous. I feel like I knew it was going to be fun, but it's like way more fun and comfortable than I even thought.
Do you think this will break the seal of your no camera policy?
I'm kind of nervous that I just did that. I'm a little nervous. So I'm going to have to put a message out that I'm still like easing.
Yeah. No, that's fine. We're going to ease you in.
Yeah.
No blind taste test.
No.
Anytime soon.
No. People can get to know you with this interview, and then you can pick and choose
All right.
what
I like
videos
that.
you do.
I like that.
Yeah. But that's all I got. That's another episode of Girls & Co. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.